I'm joined here today with Vito Giallorenzo as General Manager of Ivy at BlackBerry QNX. Thanks so much for joining me today, Vito. Firstly, can you tell us a bit about yourself and your position at BlackBerry QNX?
Yes, hi Grace, thanks for having me. So I've worked at BlackBerry for like 7 years now, in a variety of roles. Currently, I'm the SVP and General Manager of Ivy. Ivy, it's our latest product for automotive software. It's built on the success and the technology of our kind of core automotive product, QNX. And it's a cloud-connected platform that helps automaker utilize and monetize vehicle signal data to build in-vehicle application solution. Ivy is co-developed with Amazon AWS. So it's actually born from a strategic partnership that I've built with them over the years at the company.
Great. And in London recently, we held our Move 2023 event, and I met BlackBerry's SVP and head of QNX, John Wall, and he joined a panel about embracing the software-defined vehicle. And he called BlackBerry QNX the plumbers of the software-defined vehicle. Considering that you'll also be discussing the topic of building trust in the SDV at Move America in September in Austin, Texas, what can we expect to see you adding to that conversation?
So John and I agree on software-defined vehicle being the primary building block for transforming the industry of transportation. He loves calling us plumbers. I know AWS always love call themselves plumbers, so I've become a plumber too. It underscores the fact that there is a lot of complex, undifferentiated R&D heavy lifting that needs to be done in order to make this SDV a reality for automakers. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of complex work, and both my team and John's team focus on something that is extremely complementary to solve these problems. Our QNX business that John runs is the most successful automotive OS platform, so it really builds the foundational software to enable the evolution of the electronic architectures of these cars that is needed to, as one of the primary requirements to actually do SDV. The next requirements on top of that, which is still middleware, so it's still plumbing, if you call it that way, is having a middleware platform that allows to take data out of these now consolidated and improved electronic systems, take the data out of these systems and present it to developer to build applications very easily. And that's what Ivy does. And so together, QNX and Ivy really provide the foundational for automakers to just transform this system from a hardware-first system to a software-abstracted system that it's much easier to develop on. And so we think that once you have that in place, as you say, the industry will transform. A lot of people love to use the analogy of a mobile phone. Now cars are different from mobile phones in a lot of ways, particularly the fact that it's a 5,000-pound thing that can kill people and destroy properties. So there is a lot of safety, but in requirements. But it's very similar to the phone in the fact that it's a connected, moving object that can create a lot of value from the thousands of signal data and personal user data that can be extracted from it. And so when you look at that and you look at what happened, obviously the moment that Apple and Google created the foundational conditions that allow developer to just take the data out of the system, process the data, and build solutions on it. $1 trillion mobile economy was created. And we think the same thing will happen and is happening in automotive. Our small but important contribution to that is just try to create that foundational common software layer across all the vehicle systems, all the brands, all the models, to make life easier for developers who are going to come up with those solutions.
Right. And how will the vehicle data that you create as a company contribute to the rise of the SDV and the architecture of the SDV transform the in-car experience? What can we see inside the car itself?
Yes, yes, that's a great question, and it sounds like a very long answer, but I'm trying to sort of focus on the important things. So first, right now, and I'm sure John touched on it, the systems in the car are still very segmented. So you have a lot of ECUs, controllers in the car, and each of them has a lot of sensors, and all these sensors are often hardware sensors spread all over the car. So first of all that data needs to be consolidated in a single high powerful, high compute units. And that's kind of that, because then now all the data feeds into one place, and that place, that ECU can actually process the data and do what needs to be done to build an application. So that's what QNX helps doing. Now, once that consolidation is happening, and we are accompanying automakers through that consolidation. So you can have QNX and Ivy on these different systems while the car is still fairly fragmented, and we'll make that consolidation at a software level. So from a software developers, it's presented as a single source of data. Next thing we do, and that's what we do with Ivy, is that data needs to be abstracted in a common format. So the data it's very different format, very different frequencies, a very different type of data across different brands of cars, sort of different models of cars, and sometimes in the same car it would come in, because those hardware systems are built by different tier one or different parts of the company. So that data needs to be made in a common format, abstract, and then should be pre-processed. So you take the raw signal data, you pre-process it to create a useful business insight. There are children in the car. You're hitting a tree. You're driving a bit crazy, which is not good for your insurance. You know, your driving score is low. So you have to pre-process the data to create a business insight, which is what the application developer wants as an input in his application, so that application developer doesn't need to worry about all this actually extremely tedious and complex work that needs to be done to process and abstract all this data. And Ivy allows to do that at scale, and also after the car is shipped and has left the dealership. So we have this concept, we call it software sensors. So a developer who's not an automotive developer, you know, can use Python, C++, so very simple programming languages to build this process, this software sensor that you can drop in a car with Ivy through the cloud, and that sensor runs in the car, takes all the data you need, and give the data back to the application. So it's a very elegant, extremely powerful way to access data from a car at scale and build applications. I think developers can get their hands on this, and they can start connecting their application in a vehicle and access the data in a vehicle. I think that will unleash their creativity on it. You know, there are already a lot of interesting solutions for cars that our clients are developing with Ivy, and they're pretty cool. But I actually think that, like when the iPhone came out in 2007, none of us imagined that we would, you know, rent apartment or doing medical doctor appointment on a phone. There's going to be things that people are going to build in these vehicles once we give them the platform that we're not even thinking today, and that will create obviously better driving experience, and will create new business models in vehicles and around transportation and smart city and energy infrastructure, so even beyond the vehicle that we are not thinking today, but they require all this system, all the data from the vehicle and the infrastructure to be processed. One thing I didn't mention is that we have Ivy is a platform, so we work with automakers, as I mentioned, but we also work with what we call ecosystem partners, the companies that are building the insurance solution, the payment solution, the ADAS solution, the predictive maintenance solutions of the car. So I was running strategy at BlackBerry, so strategy for me, it's always very important when I start a new business. And when you build a platform, it's very important to grow the two sides of the platform, the automakers and the application users. So we have a very proactive ecosystem strategy. We reach out and we onboard partners who want to build solution in vehicles, and they want help in doing all the heavy lifting that I talked about. And we work with these partners, and we also invest in some of these companies, especially the most interesting, innovative startups that are doing work within vehicle data and benefit from our support in R&D, go-to-market, and possibly also financial support. So we created a venture fund. We call it the Ivy Innovation Fund. We already invested in 4 companies. With some of them, we already won business. We're doing POCs. So that's another, I think, very interesting part of our business that a lot of our automaker customers like, because we come with a platform and some use case solutions already integrated and plugged into it. So it's a more turnkey solution for them, and they really like it.
Yeah, I like the analogy that you use, that it's kind of like a mobile phone, and it gives the air that the possibilities aren't quite all known yet, and then it will kind of be a continuous thing during time. I really like that analogy, and I look forward to hearing about it more at Move America in September. And speaking of that event, what else can we expect to see from BlackBerry QNX at the event?
Yeah, so I'm going there. I'm very much looking forward to it. I know we have 2 panels that sound extremely interesting. You know, one is about building trust in software-defined vehicle to just enable this next generation consumer and commercial experiences that we talked about. And then there is also another panel that I'll participate to, titled Unlocking Innovation and the Promise of SDV with Vehicle Data. So again, another topic very dear to what I do. On top of that, will be there a lot of our customers and our partners. Some of them are on the panel with me, will be there. So we also look forward to meet and continue the dialogue with partners and customers.
Perfect. Well, Move is the perfect place to make all those valuable connections and have all those valuable conversations. We host it to a lot of startups, like you said. So I look forward to seeing that there. And I also look forward to meeting you there, Vito. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you soon.
Great. Likewise. Thanks, Grace. See you in Austin.